this is Jessica with Lavish Locks Hair Company yet again. So as you can see from the title, we are going to be, this is like a part 2 because I've already done this before, but there's some things that I've learned over the years that I want to pass off the knowledge to you on wig shedding, right? A lot of people, that is like the dreaded thing, like, oh, I bought a wig and it tangled in and shed. Like, why is my wig tangling and shedding now? I didn't have it for years. So I'm here to give you my expert opinion on why your wig is shedding. But before we continue, remember, we have to take care of some housekeeping things. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, turn on your post notification. And if this is like your second time, third time back, or you're just coming back, thanks for coming back. And hopefully you find this video very helpful. So let's dig into why is my wig shedding, part 2. So the first reason, or my first thing to tell you, like if you want to eliminate shedding, is stop scratching your wig, right? If your head is itching, it might be time that you need to take that sucker off and wash your real hair, but stop doing this when you have your wig on. It kind of loosens the knots and it creates holes and creates friction, and therefore you'll notice that where you scratch the most is where your wig is going to thin the most. So that is the first thing to prevent shedding. Is stop scratching your wig. Take your wig off and wash your real hair. Maybe put some tea tree oil on it at night, not during the day, but at night when your wig is off. But please, please, please stop scratching. Stop scratching, right? I don't approve this, okay? Do not do that. But I do approve of you taking your wig off, applying some tea tree oil, some peppermint oil, another good hair oil. I'll actually put it at the bottom. It's what I put on my natural hair because I have very dry, itchy scalp. But you just want to make sure that if your hair is itching while you have your wig on, whatever you do, don't scratch. I wouldn't even suggest do a rub. I would say maybe if you can go in and get your little rat tail comb and get in there to see where it's itching, that'll be better than you scratching, because scratching makes friction, creates hole, and therefore that might be a reason of why your wig is shedding. So another reason that your wig, or you could be experiencing shedding in your wig, is because you sleep in your wig. I understand sometimes we have to keep up appearances, so you have to sleep in your wig. So if that is the case and you have to sleep in your wig, or you have your wig glued down so you can't take it off, you want to make sure that you first detangle and comb your wig out every single night, and you want to sleep with a satin bonnet. A satin bonnet is going to stop your wig from rubbing against your cotton sheets, or even if you have silk sheets, it's going to prevent the friction. Remember, friction causes shedding, or causes tangling that leads to shedding. So my expert opinion, if you can, please don't sleep in your wig. It just makes life easier. But if you have to sleep in your wig, please make sure that you wear a satin bonnet. All right, my next expert opinion is for the ladies that use adhesives. You want to make sure that you are using the proper remover. I like to use alcohol, that's just my preference, but you want to just make sure that you have all of the glue out of the hairline before you reapply it, right? Reapplying glue, old glue on top of glue, will create little holes and patches, and the first thing that's gonna thin is gonna be the hairline. So you just wanna make sure that you remove all of the extra glue before you wash it, comb it out of the hair. Just remove it. Normally glue kind of rolls up like Elmer's glue, were y'all like me when you were kids, like y'all used to make fake boogers? I don't know, I was weird, but it was fun. So it just kinda, I digress. It just kind of rolls up. So you just want to make sure those little roly pieces that you kind of like gently flick out of the hair, no harsh pulling, but you just want to make sure that you get all of that glue out of the wig, all of the adhesive out of the wig before you wash it. Because if you do that, that will cause your wig to shed. It will cause it to tangle, and we don't want shedding, right? Shedding is no good. Okay, so the next thing that you want to do so you can prevent any shedding from your wig is you want to avoid oily or greasy products. My recommendation is always use products that are formulated, especially if you have a human hair wig, that are formulated for human hair or formulated for human hair wigs, right? A wonderful product line you could use would be Lavish by Josca. It is the perfect 3-step program for anybody who's trying to minimize product buildup, or you're a woman on the go and you always want your wig to be fresh, right? So Lavish by Josca, that's my little plug, but it's a great product line. For shampoos and conditioners you want to use, Biolage, Paul Mitchell, trying to think of another one I use, Joico, any of those that it's not very you don't want it to be too stripping, but you don't want it to be too heavy, right? So just avoid using oily, that's not weird saying that. Just avoid using oily products, or just keep on caking products on every single day. That is why I created my dry shampoo, because dry shampoo is the perfect way to remove all of those oily patches on a daily basis, if you do need that, so that your wig doesn't tangle and shed. So get you a good dry shampoo. Side note. My next tip is when you are combing out your wig or detangling your wig before you shampoo it, or just on a daily basis, you want to make sure that you are doing it properly. So I'm gonna show you. You wanna get a wide tooth comb. You wanna start at the ends and work your way to the roots. From pulling, if you start it the other way, you're pulling from the knots, and you are going to pull a hole, or create a hole, or create shedding in your wig. So you just wanna make sure that you start it from down here, work your way up, and keep combing. You also wanna do that with your natural hair. That's just like the proper way that they've taught, everyone to detangle your hair. And then once you get it up here, then you're good to go. That looks kind of cute. Oh me, I like this wig, this is cute. Anyways, so make sure you detangle your wig properly. I'm also a firm believer that you do need to brush or comb your wig every single day. And you also want to concentrate on the nape of the neck. A lot of people overlook this. They just kind of okay, the top looks good. And then when you flip it over, they got one big knot back here. So if you need to, make sure you start from the ends to the top, but that you also really get in underneath so that you don't have a big knot. And then when it's time to wash your hair, you have this big knot and you're over here trying to rip and get this out. Okay? Cool. Let's move on. So my next my next expert opinion is when you're styling your hair. A lot of times when people buy a wig, they have very high expectations. Oh, I'm gonna do this style, I'm gonna do that style, I'm gonna do this style, I'm gonna do that style. That is great and dandy. But the more you manipulate your wig, the more shedding or the more thinning you're going to experience with your wig. So my expert opinion is to tell you guys, style with care, right? Easy, simple manipulations with your wig. I always suggest if you have a wig that's curly, keep that wig curly, and then invest in a straight wig and just rotate them, right? Or invest in a look that you like and just keep rotating. Rotating wigs is going to help, keep the longevity of your wig and also prevent from shedding. But a lot of times when people get wigs, they want to up, down, side, boom, boom, boom. That is great. You can do all those things. But the more you manipulate the wig, the more likely you're going to experience a little bit more shedding. So style with care. This next tip is the most simplest tip, but is the tip that people don't like to do. Is cleanse or wash or shampoo, whichever you want to say, your wig. If you are wearing a shirt every single day, which you wear that shirt every single day for 2 weeks and not wash it, no. So you want to make sure that when you are wearing this wig, especially if it's your go-to wig, your daily wig, you want to make sure that you wash your wig at least every other week. In between time, you want to invest in a good dry shampoo. Let me show you. You want to invest into a good dry shampoo. So this is Refresh by Lavish, right here, me. right? So it's a dry shampoo. It's just basically going to neutralize the odor, remove any oily spots, any patchiness, and it's just gonna give you crazy volume, and it's going to extend the life of your human hair wigs. So remember, 1 week, we're washing it. We're submerging it in water, and we are cleansing. We are removing all the oils, all the product buildup, all the bacteria from the wig. Then in between time, when we're a woman on the go, we're gonna refresh with the dry shampoo. Now, if you don't buy my brand, then that's fine. No hard feelings. But it is a good dry shampoo. You should take a look. It's down below. Just take a look. There's a lot, right? Wigs are delicate. So my next expert thing, right? I have my notes down here just in case you see me looking down, but it's okay. My next expert tip is to avoid putting conditioner on your lace. And this is more or less when you are shampooing and conditioning your wig. Conditioner is meant for the hair, not for the lace. When you apply too much conditioner on your lace, you create buildup, right? At the same time, you loosen the knots on the wig, and therefore you might experience a little more shedding. Another side note, when it comes to conditioner, make sure you rinse out all of the product when you are done shampooing and conditioning your unit. Don't leave any product in there, like especially conditioner, because you do that every time. Eventually you're like, why does my wig feel so waxy? Why does it feel like I still have products in there after I washed it out? So just make sure that you are washing it out properly. Another side note is when you are shampooing and conditioning your wig, you want to use like warm water or like cold water, especially with the conditioner. You want to put it on as cold as possible because it's going to seal that hair shaft, and it's going to give you a lot of shine, and it's going to make your wig very hydrated without all of the grease. So remember, avoid conditioner on the lace. You only want to put the conditioner on the hair part just to kind of hydrate the hair, which the hair needs because it's not attached to a source of like moisture, right? So let's move on, guys. All right, my next expert tip, right? When you get a wig, everyone's like, oh, I want my knots bleached. I want my knots bleached. I don't want to see my knots, right? That can create a serious problem for shedding, right? So when you over bleach your knots, you loosen, basically, if you don't know, let's back up. If you don't know, when you buy a wig, they go in, here's a piece of lace per se. They take a piece of hair and they pull it through, and then they tie a knot. So when you flip it over, or when you look at it, you have all these little black knots. And so what we do is we bleach that so that when you go look at somebody in person, you can't see those little bleach knots. The downfall to that is over bleaching the knots loosens the knots, and you will definitely experience a lot of shedding. So just bleach your knots very gentle. I used to bleach knots on like a 40 volume. Now I actually do like a 20 volume, and I kind of just watch it. I never want to overdo it because I've done it before, and then you look at it and it's like the client only has the wig for like a week or so, and then if they're scratching it, definitely it's gonna loosen it up, and they're just gonna have that big old patch. I'm like, well, why is the wig shedding like that? Or why do I have this patch? So just avoid over bleaching your knots. Okay, we're almost done. Rounding it out. My last thing to tell you guys, this is the last tip. It's not really a tip, but it's just something to think about. Shedding in a wig is natural. Literally, guys, it's the natural circle of a wig, right? It's going to shed. Now, so don't get alarmed if you have like a couple of strands. That's very true. Like you can have a couple of strands each day, especially if you're detangling your wig. You might say, oh, I got a little knot down there, and you pull it out and you see a little bit of like hair on the comb. So don't be alarmed. What I'm talking about is patches, clumps of hair coming out. If you did your due diligence and you invested in a great wig, you shouldn't experience any shedding. Sometimes you will experience shedding if the wig is like fresh and you just got it. So you just might need to like give it a good shampoo and conditioner to kind of like rinse out all of the hair, especially if it's a new wig, to just rinse out the hair that didn't attach properly to the wig, if that makes any sense. So like when you first get it, you might just want to give it a wash if you're experiencing some shedding. Maybe put like a deep moisturizer on the hair to kind of seal the cuticles. But shedding is very normal, especially on like a brand new wig. Especially if you cut the lace, shedding is normal right there. But after a wash, you should only like have like 1 or 2 hairs, you know, like on a comb or pull it through. So I just don't want you to be alarmed if you like, oh, I did all this and I still like, oh, it's shedding. No, I'm talking about clumps of shedding. Okay guys, so that concludes our video. Hopefully you found it very helpful. I know shedding can like ruin your wig experience, right? So hopefully this helps you, you know, implement some things into your wig regimen so that you can avoid any shedding, right? So if you haven't already, guys, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and turn on those post notifications and then give this video a thumbs up. And then if you have any more questions or concerns or some videos you would like for me to do for 2022, I love how that rhymes. I'm a rapper. Anyways, put them in the comments below and I will try to answer them, or I'll try to create the video, whichever one you know, choose, right? So if you want to, let's connect outside of YouTube. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Lavish Locks Hair, or you can follow my personal page, which is Lavishly Jessica. And remember, at Lavish Locks Hair Company, we create lavish wigs with your needs in mind, right? And you can shop with us 24/7 at Lavish Locks Hair Company. Yeah, at Lavish Locks Hair Company. I gotta make sure I say that right. It's like a lot to say. Anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go. I helped you enough. Remember, be blessed, stay safe, and stay lavish. Bye.